Alright, welcome back to the next video in this series. In the last video, we got our tile maps set up, imported, and we even painted a little. And in this video, we are going to set up the spring object, and then we'll be able to get back into another tile map video where we paint the entire level. I find that part to be pretty fun, especially using tile maps. It's super easy and it leaves us more time and effort and energy to put into designing a level. Real quick, with our tile map bricks unlocked and selected, first off, I'm going to zoom out of that one so I can make this panel a little thinner, give me some more room. And then I am going to pick my rectangle tool and this brick and fill this area in. And then I'm going to make another ledge up here, except only that tall. And then I'll use this brick as a jump through. And then my pencil, that brick. And so you can just pick your different tools and design your level out. So, make another wall. And like I said before, this is 5 units high. They're 32 by 32, and we get that by having our grids at 32 by 32. And we can show our grid if that makes it easier. You can see it. I don't necessarily like having mine on unless I absolutely need it. I'm going to go back to my bricks, select my tile map, and get my background brick and fill that in. And then I'm going to lock that, unlock my objects tile map, select it, get my eraser tool out, and I'm going to get rid of these spikes for right now until we need them. And then I'm going to lock that, and with my collisions layer unlocked, I'm going to go in here and do that, stretch these out. We don't want him falling off the map. I'm going to need another ledge here, so I'm going to just copy this one here, move it into place. Same thing with my jump through. And actually, I'm going to just delete this jump through and then go get my bricks, unlock it, select it, get my bricks, my pencil tool, and just fill that. Oops, nope. There we go. That one, the background brick. So it looks like there's just a gap. So we're just going to jump on the barrel and jump up here. And then we're going to put a spring board in here, and that's how we're going to get through this one. And I think doing it that way, we're going to need a jump through ledge. So we'll insert that there. Okay. I'm going to lock all our tile map layers. Okay, let's get the spring started. In fact, let's create a new layer, and let's call this one Objects. And let's move it below collisions. So that's how your layers should look. And with Objects selected, let's double click and add us a sprite. We can place it wherever. I'm going to, I guess, place it right there. And let's come up here to load an image from File. And then we can navigate back to our Objects folder. And let's pick our spring. And it resizes it for us. I'm going to turn this grid off. And it resizes it for us, so it should be 52 by 32. And I'm going to come over here to the Origin tool, and I'm going to hit 2 on my keypad, or bottom middle is where you want your origin. And then the polygon is all kinds of messed up. I'm just going to right click on one of these nodes and say set to bounding box. I'm going to move the bottom up to maybe to 10. And then the same thing here. I'll just make that 10. So something like that. And then we can exit out of that And let's rename this. I'm going to name the majority of my objects. I'm going to start it off, the name of it, with obj underscore and then its name, which this one will be spring. This just ties into creating a consistent naming convention. I'm going to grab our spring object and move it into objects folder, and then we can move our spring into where we want it. And I'm going to put it up here in this corner. Now, the way I have this set up, the size and everything, and the origin point and the snapping, is an object like this spring can snap into place where I want it. I don't want it right up next to the wall because I just don't think it looks good that way. So you can see that it doesn't hug the wall, but it's close enough and it snaps into place and it's the right size for us. So while you have that selected, just make sure that it is on the objects layer. Mine is. And now we are going to give this thing some code. So let's go over to our event sheet folder, right click on it and say add event sheet. And you can see it's ready for us to name it. So I'm going to put a lowercase e underscore, and I'm going to call this event sheet objects. We are going to code our objects on this event sheet separately from everything else. So let's right click and add a group. And I'm going to call this Springboard. I'm going to add an event to Springboard. And I'm going to grab our sprite object player. And I'm going to type in collision with another object. And that object is going to be our spring. When it collides with the spring, we are going to add the action sprite objects player. And let's scroll down to our platform actions. And I want to set the platform's vector y. And if you click on it, it says set the y component of motion. So let's select that, and our vector is going to be the y direction of going up. So x is our horizontal and y is our vertical. We're going with the vertical, which is y, and we're going up. So y in construct 3 game engine starts at 0, 0, which is the top left corner of the layout. And then it counts up when you move down. But we want our player to move up. When he hits a springboard, we want him to spring up. So we need to go into negative numbers. And that negative number is going to be negative 800. And what that means is over here is he's going to be propelled 800 pixels in the y direction of negative 800, or in the negative direction. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our controls event sheet. So all we have is our level 1 and our objects. So that should be set up for us to use. Now another thing that's going to happen is if we jump on it, it's going to throw us up in the air. But if we don't jump and just run to the side of it, we're still colliding with it, and it's going to shoot us up anyways. And I don't want that. I want, if you run into the side of the spring without jumping, I want it to send you the other way. So I'm just going to take this one and drag out a copy. And I'm going to scroll in real close. And here's where it can get kind of tedious and somewhat annoying. You see, it's at 32 by 32 snapping. If I go any less, it just collapses. So I'm going to click away, and that'll bring up our properties, and I'm going to untick snap to grid. And then I'm going to select this and just move the ends around. So I want the top to be accessible, but not all of it. And then I want this to stick out from it so that it runs into our wall before it hits the spring. So something like that should probably do the trick. There's no real method to it, but once you're done, you have it in place, click away, and let's turn our snap to grid back on. Okay, I'm going to play that. And everything's still working. That's good. I run into the side of it and it sends me the other direction. And if I jump on it, it did not work. What did we do? All right. You have to forgive me. I had to step away for just a second and try to figure out what was happening, why we were not getting our spring to shoot us up in the air. Our code is correct. The problem is that if you come over here and you're on the level 1 tab, you can see that the event sheet is E controls. So what we need to do is set up a main event sheet. And we're going to go ahead and do that now. So let's right click on event sheets. Let's add an event sheet and call this E_main. All right. Now with that selected, come over here and just right click anywhere. And let's come down here to include event sheet. We want to include controls. And then let's do it again. Include event sheet and objects. Okay, now let's go back to our level 1 tab and change our event sheet to main. So now our level 1, when we are on level 1 layout, it will be reading from the main event sheet, which the main event sheet includes both of these. So hopefully our code is correct now. And I'm going to move this little guy up here. I'm going to turn my snapping back on. Hopefully I haven't confused you too much. So let's go ahead and play that. There's our guy, and he hits the wall. He goes back, we jump, and shoots us up. That is how it's supposed to work. Okay, I'm going to refresh that just to make sure everything is good. Hit the wall again, and boom. All right, I like it. Okay, sorry about the little interruption there, but we have it all figured out. Now, this is something we can duplicate as many times as we want. We can just drag out another instance, hold control and click and drag out another instance, and I'll put it right there. And if we play, it shoots him every time he collides with it. So the code is for every instance of our spring object. I just wanted to get that part out of the way so that we could build the rest of the level with having that spring in mind. That is it for this video. I am going to get back to tile maps in the next video, and I will see you there. Don't forget to save.